First mark, a transformed heart. This is where it all starts. The Bible lays it out in Ezekiel 36:26. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of flesh. That's not some poetic fluff. That's a promise of total transformation. Not a surface level tweak, not a I'll try to be nicer this week kind of deal. We're talking a complete overhaul from the inside out. Think of Saul in the Bible. This guy was out there hunting Christians full of rage, thinking he had it all figured out. Then boom, Jesus shows up on the road to Damascus, blinds him with light, and rewrites his entire story. Saul becomes Paul, a man whose heart didn't just shift, it flipped 108 degrees. That's what happens to the chosen. They don't stay the same. You can memorize every verse in the Bible, volunteer at church every Sunday, post all the inspirational quotes you want, but if your heart hasn't changed, it's all noise. A transformed heart rewires everything. How you love, how you forgive, how you react when someone cuts you off in traffic or talks behind your back. It's not about faking it till you make it. It's about God breaking through and making you new. I knew a woman named Tara. Used to be all about the party life, chasing guys, chasing high. Then she hit rock bottom, found faith, and now she's the first one to help a stranger to listen when someone's hurting. That's a transformed heart in action. So let's pause. Has your heart been reshaped by God? Do you feel different? Not just act different since you met him? Or are you still running on the old operating system, holding on to grudges, chasing the same old stuff? Because without this first mark, nothing else clicks. A transformed heart is the foundation. Look at your life, what's it saying? Mark 2, an unwavering love for truth. Jesus didn't mince words. He said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life, John 14. That's not a suggestion. It's a declaration. The chosen don't just hear truth and shrug, they hunger for it. They cling to it, even when it's messy, even when it costs them. Scroll through X or flip on the news today and you'll see people twisting truth to fit their narrative, picking what feels good, what keeps them comfy. My truth, they call it. But the chosen, they don't play that game. They know truth isn't a buffet. It's a rock and they build their lives on it. Think about Sarah, a friend of mine. She worked at this big corporate gig, climbing the ladder, making decent money. Then she found out her boss was fudging numbers. Nothing illegal enough to get caught, just shady enough to make her stomach turn. She called it out, lost her job over it. Most people would have stayed quiet, kept the paycheck. Not Sarah. Why? Because she loved truth more than her comfort zone. That's the chosen in action. They don't bend when the heat's on. They stand even if it means standing alone. Now, flip that mirror on yourself. Do you love truth enough to lose something for it? Maybe it's a friendship that's toxic but familiar. Maybe it's a habit you know isn't right, but feels too good to quit. The chosen don't dodge the hard step. Face it, they don't just want truth that's easy. They want truth that's real. So where do you land? Are you chasing what's true or what's trendy? Third mark, perseverance through trials. Jesus laid it out straight in John 16:33. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Notice he didn't say you might, he said you will. The chosen don't get a VIP pass to skip the hard stuff. They walk through it, sometimes crawl through it, but they don't quit. Look at Job in the Bible. Guy had it all. Wealth, family, respect, and one day it's gone. Kids dead, money wiped out, body covered in soul. Most of us would have thrown in the towel, cursed the sky. He wrestled, he questioned, but he didn't walk away. And God didn't just leave him there, he restored him, doubled everything he lost. Or take Maria, a single mom I met at a community center. Lost her apartment when rent spiked, car broke down, barely scraping by. But every night, she'd sit with her kids, praying, not for a handout, but for strength. She'd say, God's got us. That's perseverance. Trials don't break the chosen. They refine them. They strip away the fluff and show what you're made of. I've seen it. People who follow God when the bank account's full but bail when the storms hit. The chosen, they stay. They know every scar's got a purpose. So what about you? Life's throwing punches. Maybe it's a breakup, a job loss, a diagnosis. Are you still standing, still trusting? Or do you crumble when it gets real? Here's the wild part. If you're in a storm right now, it might not be a sign God forgot you. It might be proof you're mocked. The enemy doesn't waste time on people who don't matter. So how do you handle the fire? That's Mark 3. Mark 4, a desire for holiness. 1 Peter 1:16 hits hard. Be holy because I'm holy. This isn't about being a goody two-shoes or locking yourself in a monastery. It's about wanting to reflect God, to live different, to stand out in a world that's all about blending in. The chosen don't just stumble into holiness, they chase it. They say no to the stuff everyone else shrugs at. The casual lies, the hookup culture, the obsession with status. It's not about rules, it's about love. They love God too much to play in the gray. I met Jake a while back, young guy, fresh out of college, lands a job at this flashy startup. Big money, big perks. Then he finds out they're cutting corners, overcharging clients. Boss offers him a fat bonus to keep quiet. Jake walks away. Could have had the car, the apartment, the Instagram flex. Instead, he chose holiness. That's what the chosen do. They guard their heart. They don't flirt with the edge. They run toward what's pure. And it's not just about avoiding sin. It's about chasing righteousness, living with integrity when no one's watching. Flip that lens on your life. Do you feel that pull to be set apart? Maybe you've noticed it. The things that used to thrill you, like gossip or chasing likes, don't hit the same anymore. That's God stirring you. Holiness isn't restriction, it's freedom. Freedom from the weight of compromise. So are you running toward it or still stuck in the world's quicksand? That's Mark 4. Check yourself. Fifth mark, a life of powerful prayer. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 says, pray without ceasing. That's not about locking yourself in a prayer closet all day. It's about keeping the line open, living like God's right there with the chosen. Don't treat prayer like a chore or a 911 call when life implodes. It's their lifeline, their heartbeat. Look at the heavy hitters in the Bible. Daniel praying 3 times a day, even with lions on the line. Elijah praying fire down from heaven. Jesus pulling away from the crowds to talk to his Father. If the Son of God needed it, how much more do we? Then there's Chris, runs a coffee shop downtown. Every shift he prays, not for tips or easy customers, but for chances to lift people up. One day a guy comes in stressed out, spills his whole story. Chris listens, prays with him right there over a latte. Guy leaves with a smile. That's prayer with legs. It's not just words, power. The chosen don't pray to get stuff, more money, more clout. They pray to give more of themselves, their trust, their heart. And here's the thing, the deepest prayers come from the darkest places. When you're broke, betrayed, lost, that's when you learn to lean in. What's your prayer life look like? Is it steady, bold, alive? Or do you only hit your knees when the rent's late? I used to think prayer was boring, just reciting lines. Then I started talking to God like a friend, and it changed everything. The chosen know prayer doesn't just shift circumstances. So, where's your lifeline at? That's Mark 5. Mark 6, the fruit of the Spirit. Jesus dropped this truth bomb in Matthew 7:16. By their fruit you will recognize them. We're not talking apples and oranges here. It's love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. The chosen don't fake this stuff. It's not a mask they slap on for Sunday. It flows out of natural. You can't manufacture it with a good vibe playlist or a motivational quote. It's God's fingerprint on their life. Take Lisa. She lost her son in a car accident. Driver was drunk, walked away free. Most people would have drowned in hate. Lisa, she forgave him. Sat in court, looked him in the eye and said, I forgive you. That's not human strength. That's fruit straight from the Spirit. But think about Sam, a guy I know who's always broke but always joyful. Helps anyone, anytime, no strings attached. The chosen don't flex wealth or status. They grow fruit that lasts. The world's obsessed with what you own. The chosen care about what you show. So what's growing in your life? Look at your last week. Did love show up? Patience, peace when everything went sideways. I'll be real, I've had days where my fruit looked more like thorns. But the chosen keep planting, keep pruning. What's your harvest saying? That's Mark 6, don't sleep on it. Final mark, the seal of God. Ephesians 4:30 says, do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God with whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. This isn't a sticker you earn. It's a mark God puts on you. It's not loud or shiny. It's quiet, unshakable. Noah had it. Building that ark while the world mocked him. Rain nowhere in sight. Fast forward to now. It's the guy who loses his house but still trusts God him. It's the woman who walks away from a toxic gig because her soul's worth more than a paycheck. The chosen carried the seal, and no storm can rip it off. I've seen it up close. My buddy Mark got cancer last year, stage 4, brutal odds. Docs gave him months. He didn't curse God or spiral. He'd sit there, weak as hell, telling me God's still good. He's still here, defying stats, living sealed. That's not luck, that's a mark. The chosen don't live scared, they live sure. Not because life's easy, but because they know who holds them. The world's chasing security and bank accounts and followers. The chosen find it in this seal. So, do you feel it? Not just believe it, feel it. That quiet confidence that I'm his vibe? Or are you still scrambling for proof in the chaos? The seal's not about perfection. It's about belonging. That's Mark 7, the capstone. Where you at with thee? Deep breath. We've walked through 7 marks, a transformed heart, love for truth, perseverance, holiness, prayer, fruit, the seal. This isn't a cute little list to nod at and forget. It's a mirror. Look at yourself. Do these marks show up in your story? Cause here's the deal. God's not waiting for you to be flawless. He's calling you to be real. He's inviting you into something bigger than the grind, the drama, the noise. And right now, I'm asking you to step up. Take a second. Do something bold. Drop this in the comments. I'm ready to live marked by God. Type it out, hit send. I'll reply to every single one. I'm serious, your voice matters. Then hit that like button if you're in this with me. It's not just a click, it's a stand. Share this video with someone who needs a wake-up call. Your best friend, your cousin, that co-worker who's lost in the hustle. And subscribe because we're not done. This journey's just getting started. Your time's gold and you're here because you're done with the shallow stuff. Let's go deeper together.